What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is so crazy. I'm literally walking into the shop by myself this morning, and all I've got to look at are the remnants of Doug, and it's really sad. Like, check it out. This is the only way that you know Doug's been here. I actually am in like a weird mood today. I didn't even really hardly want to come up here. It just feels weird without Doug being up here. It's very strange. But I need to clean this whole area up and sweep some things up and get it all nice and clean. And damn, this is so weird, man. This is the first video without Doug, by the way. I gotta get adjusted to how to video again. Like, everything that I've been used to doing now for years is completely changed. I'm gonna have to figure this out. But anyways, guys, today we're gonna be doing a lot of work to the ZL1. I've got a lot of parts that I've received from ZL1 add-ons, which I really appreciate those guys. They've sent a lot of stuff. The Mustangs, the GT350s, and Black Car. They've sent a bunch of stuff throughout the years for a lot of stuff. They make great parts, great aero, great accessories, things like that. And today we're gonna be putting a bunch of stuff on the ZL1. And so also in this video, we are going to be freaking taking off the LT4 Supercharger off of the ZL1, shipping it to Kong Performance, and it is going to have a Kong ported blower, upgraded throttle body, and a tune. So this car, as it sits, currently makes like 550 to the wheel. I was told that after this throttle body, the ported blower, and the tune, this car is going to make a little bit over 700 to the tire. We should be picking up literally 150 plus wheel horsepower with a tune, which I just can't even believe that. That is pretty insane, to be honest. That's wild. That car is very fast as it is, in case you guys missed the video of the Shelby truck running the ZL1. Like, it's not slow at all. At all. So we're gonna make it a little bit quicker. I told you guys that over time that I was really wanting to make the old Camaros 2.0 basically with Captain, and it's really working out pretty well. The last car didn't necessarily have a ported blower, but it did have a ported manifold. So I mean, in a way, Supercharger is kind of an intake manifold, and we are gonna kind of port it. The only downside is that I can't actually get a cam in this car until we're ready to convert it completely to E85 100% of the time, because it'll make too much power at that point with the ported blower and the throttle body and everything. This is going to be pretty much our ceiling for what we're going to be able to do on pump gas before having to swap over to E85, but I'd really like to wait until we get somewhere that has E85 on hand, because we got to drive 2 hours for it at the moment. And so if I want E85, I've got to find somewhere that has good E85 first, test it, and then I've got to bring a 55-gallon drum, fill it up. So it's a big mess typically for keeping cars on E85, especially if you consider that a 55-gallon drum will only fill up a car about 3 times and then you're done. It's just a pain. I think I'm gonna wait so that way I can keep driving this car as much as possible. Sorry for so much talking. Check this out. Here are the parts that we're gonna be installing today. So we've got a front splitter, which this is honestly, I think, my favorite part that I've been ready to install on this car for a while. That thing is gonna look good. The funniest part about all of this is that I'm gonna be doing all these mods to this car today, and literally it's not even gonna move. So we're gonna do every single bit of this to the car on the lift, and you're gonna watch an entire video of a lot of mods happening to a car that is not even gonna start up one time in this entire video. So sorry. In this box, I've got all kinds of goodies. So let me get this moved over here. All right, so check it out. You know what? I think it's time for the return of GoPro Gavin. Let's do it. I am back in a shop by myself, by my lonely, installing parts with a GoPro on my head. Hope this is what you guys are missing. But anyways, first box, we've got this pretty cool little gauge pod. This is a pod that is actually gonna go in the factory defroster location on the driver's side area. And it's pretty cool because the vent on the driver's side where the defroster is up by the windshield literally just like snaps out, and then you just snap this one in, put your gauge right there, and you run the wires straight down the defroster tube, punch a hole at the bottom to run the wires out, and then you've got this little putty to seal it up. So pretty cool. We'll show you guys how that works a little bit later. But this is the gauge that is actually going to be going inside of the gauge pod, and this is our new AFR gauge. So this is going to display air fuel to me on the screen, because these cars, for whatever reason, do not come with factory widebands like the Mustangs do, so that's kind of a pain. So we're gonna have to install our own bung into the header down there. We've got this little bung that I'm actually gonna have to weld into the header down there, because this is our wideband itself. The wideband is going to run from the exhaust manifold. Let's pretend that this is already in, and we'll thread this into the header just like normal. See, so that would be sticking out of the header like that. We'll run this wire up into the car. I'll figure that out. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna run it yet. This is gonna be a tool that's gonna aid us in tuning the car whenever we get the blower back. Coronavirus Delta, shit. Okay, anyway though, the wideband gauge though is going to be a tool to help us out whenever the blower gets returned. We get the blower and the throttle body and everything put on the car. We're gonna get it backed on the dyno, and then we're gonna be beginning tuning, but we need a gauge in there to be able to see AFR, so that way we know if something's going haywire or not. This is how it's gonna sit. The gauge will sit in there on that pod just like so. See the little vent right there? That is literally gonna slide down into place, and it is going to be the most perfectly mounted AFR gauge. And the cool thing is that it still allows airflow to pass by through these little vent holes right here for defrosting the windows and everything. So it's actually going to be like really perfectly mounted. That's one thing that I do hate is gauges that are just like too invasive looking. Put a picture real quick of like overdone gauges where it's just like fucking ridiculous amount of gauges in the car. But you guys get the point. AFR gauge is going to get installed pretty soon before we get it all back. I just got to weld that bung in and route a bunch of shit. That's not really important for this video at all. I just wanted to unbox it and show you guys because it is something that we are going to be installing. In here, I've actually got a really cool tow hook. This is a Gt4 tow hook for the ZL1s. This is from ZL1 add-ons. It's going to be pretty easy to install. This is going to thread in. I'll show you guys, but basically this is its own individual rod, and then afterwards you attach the tow hook and tighten it down here. It's pretty nice and easy install, but it matches the brakes, and it also matches the one, and it also matches a few interior parts and stuff like that. So I've never really seen too many people do the bright orange and red color scheme. It's a really interesting accent color on orange, but I'm gonna run with it. So anyway, there is that. I'm also gonna do some nice swapping one by one, so that way I don't have to get the wheels off the ground, but I'm gonna swap on our new lug nuts here. ZL1 add-ons was nice enough to send over these beautiful titanium lug nuts. Honestly, ridiculously nice race lug nuts. These are beautiful, but we're gonna get our factory lug nuts replaced a little bit later on. I'm still waiting on wheels to come in. So I just have these kind of in advance. That's why I wanted to show you guys again. These aren't gonna be probably getting installed now, but when our wheels come in for the car, I guess I accidentally slipped up and just said that. But we've got some wheels coming in for the car. I'm not gonna tell you guys who or what. I'm not sure exactly when to tell you guys, but this car over the next few months is going to be built pretty wildly. And there is a reason that we've been waiting so long. And I know you guys have been upset about not being able to see anything with the car. Just be patient, I promise. There really is a very, very, very big reason coming up here in November if COVID doesn't, you know, screw it all up. But we've also got, check this out, we've got some rock guards. So these wheels and tires are super wide. They throw rocks up like crazy, and they're extremely sticky because they're R888Rs. So these rock guards are gonna hopefully help keep down on how much that we're getting rock chips and stuff like that on the side of the car. And we've got some lift pads, pretty sweet as well. Well, now that you guys have pretty much seen everything that we're gonna be installing, I need to go ahead and pop the hood, and I need to look at everything under the hood and see what all I'm gonna have to remove to get this LT4 blower out of here to get it shipped off to Kong, because I have never done anything on an LT4 before. So if you guys remember from this channel's start back in the day, the reason that everybody used to like it but also used to hate it is because of the fact that I really don't try as much, or I try as much as I can to make this genuine. I don't go read a bunch of forums beforehand or try to watch a shit ton of videos. I'll watch like an overview video to see what I need to do, but the majority of it is really just me learning as I go. And a lot of the time back in the day, I used to break things, or things used to go wrong or whatever, and a lot of people found it entertaining, and it was fun for me. I got a beautiful light up here. All right, so under here, let's see. Doesn't look like anything too terrible. First thing that I'm seeing that I'm gonna need to do is get our whole entire engine harness here, this coil harness, out of the way. I'm gonna probably have to remove a lot of these PCVs and things like that and get all of this moved out of the way to be able to get the blower out. Honestly though, other than that, this doesn't look terrible. This is our Supercharger Bleeder. This is what people complain about and say this is honestly like the worst thing in the world to have to work with. But luckily, I've got an aftermarket coolant reservoir for the Supercharger that's coming in that's got a bleeder valve on it. So we'll get that all installed once it comes in. But again, that's gonna be stuff we'll talk about next video that you guys see whenever we're actually getting the blower back from Kong and putting it onto the car. First steps, I guess let me put some gloves on and we'll just dive straight into this thing. All right guys, first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get our intake out of the way, get it moved out, so that way we can go ahead and get that whole entire area pretty much freed up. I've got to remove the throttle body connections and all this down in here, so having this intake out of the way is just gonna make this a lot easier. Nice, I guess that just pops out. That did not even mean to pull it out, but it came. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the PCV here on the intake and push it out of the way. We loosen this clamp a little bit more. Now our intake should just pop off. Yeah, since I haven't set up any, oh, actually look here, I lied. All right, this is gonna be the ZL1 shelf for now. Next up, I'm gonna have to get started pretty much removing every single freak PCV on this entire thing. So all these little hoses, all this has just gotta come off. I'm actually gonna go ahead and plug this one back up to the intake, that way I remember where it comes from. Let me finish getting all these pulled out. Okay, cool deal. This whole thing. All right. And just like that, we've got all of our PCV lines out of the way. I'm gonna leave them orientated just like they are, so I don't mix up how they all go, but we'll set those right there out of the way. And now it looks a little bit easier to look at least. Okay, where to go next? This is fun. Chevy zip ties from factory, and they're even orange. I don't wanna hear a damn person say anything about me using zip ties from here on out. All right, next up, we need to get this coil harness up here out of the way. So we've got a few places that it's held onto the blower here, so I'll work that up and get that out of there. This is pretty wild. I never thought that I would have a freaking 6th gen ZL1 that I would be pulling the blower off by myself and about to ship off to get ported. That is pretty damn wild. All of our coils on this bank are disconnected. Now I need to disconnect all of these connectors down here. All right. All of those are disconnected. Okay, so next up, now that I've got all of these connectors unplugged, I'm gonna move these out of the way so that way I don't spill water inside of them. Coolant, I guess, but still. And now I've got these little hose clamps here. Hose clamp, I don't even know really what you want to call them, but basically we'll clamp onto these rubber hose like so, and that is gonna prevent us from having any spills. So got one right there. Go ahead and put another one right here. Now that those two are clamped off nice and good, I can get a flat head inside of here, and we've got these little quick release things right here. Okay, so this top one, let me go ahead and grab a Sharpie. I'm gonna mark some arrows actually. All right, and now I'm gonna mark some arrows on here. That way I can hopefully remember which way they go. All right, now I need to mess with these little, okay. One clip out, don't need to lose these. Throw some rags down here just to protect the connector and all the sensors down there, just to make sure nothing gets full of any coolant. And then we can slip this out, and we got a little bit of coolant draining. I got a little rubber cap here. I'm just gonna slip on there like so. That way I can keep any more major spills from happening. Move our rag, make sure I don't have any spills inside of any connectors. It looks like we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead, put the rag back, and we'll get our next line removed here. I'm gonna take our little circlip here and place it back into place, like so. Cool. So that is ready for install again. Once we get done, go ahead and leave this out here out of the way, and that'll be ready for whenever we come back with our new blower. Now I need to get to the bottom side of this one. Clip is removed. Set that out of the way. Now I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Take our rag, put it underneath this connection, and get ready to catch some coolant. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and set that out of the way with the other one. They're both safe right there. So cool deal. So I've got our cap placed on both of these fittings right there. And so now I can go ahead and take our whole wire harness and all of that, and I'll just tuck it over here off to the front. Now you guys can see that we've got pretty good access to be able to pull our blower out here in a second. But before I can do that, I need to go to this other side and get started removing this coil harness on this side. All right, so now all of these are disconnected. I can move this whole thing out of the way. Now I've got one more sensor on the back of the blower back here that I need to get off. And I think I'm only gonna be able to reach it from this other side, it looks like. Fuel line, get that one out of the way. And this last little connector way back here. Nice. Tuck that up so I don't forget about it. And now, I believe our blower is pretty much freed up to do what I please. I love it. So the next thing that I'm gonna need to do is get on our idler, which is down there, and get this supercharger belt off, which it looks like it is a 15. So let me go grab some metric wrench just real quick and we'll get that belt pulled off. Okay, so I need to look and see now. Actually, before I take this belt off, I know there's probably a diagram somewhere on the car, but I always like to do this just to be safe. I'm gonna go ahead and take a video of how the belt is routed, so that way, whenever I get the blower back, I won't have to be looking up a whole bunch of stuff. I'll just watch this video and see how it goes. So, around the crank pulley at the bottom, goes over to the right, over to that idler, up and around, up, around the blower pulley, down, over, around the tensioner there, and then back around the crank. So now that I got that video recorded, I can go ahead and pull on our tensioner, Come on, buddy. There you go. Slip it off like so. And there we go. So our belt is completely off of our blower now. We can go ahead, move all of this completely out of the way. And next up, we'll go ahead and get started removing our supercharger lid. This is going to be just the top portion of the blower itself, the lid of it. And once we get that, you'll see these dual core intercoolers on the both sides. You'll see the screw in the center. You'll see all the good stuff underneath here. First thing I'm going to do is just break all of these loose. There's actually a surprisingly little amount of torque on here. I'm not going to lie, this is pretty surprising. Like, watch, just to show you guys how little bit of torque. Like literally with the left hand, just barely, ever so slightly trying, and they're coming loose. That is just insane. All right, now that I've broken them all loose, I'm gonna grab our impact gun here. All right, 3 studs back there in the center. I should be able to remove all of these bolts now, throw them into our tray. And then after I get all these bolts removed, the entire lid should just be ready to come off. Unless I need to take these 4 center ones out first. I'm not too sure yet. Again, never done this. All right, let's see if our lid is wanting to move yet. Nope. Okay, now blower lid should be ready to get off. God, this is so weird. I haven't really worked on anything in so long. It's so nice to just have hands on something again, honestly. Supercharger lid is ready to go. Let's do it. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, I'll go ahead and set this down like so. Cool deal. So the blower lid is out of the way. Check this out. Wow, that is pretty damn neat. Got a little bit more oil than I'd like. Probably gonna have to go for a catch can once we get everything back together. I'll go ahead and get one of those on order. But next thing that we need to do is remove basically all these bolts that are holding the blower down in place. So we've got all of these inside of here going back. I think these 2 Allens stay here. That's what's holding the intercooler, I believe, in place. And then we've got 2 more bolts, one back here, and it looked like one on the other side, I believe. So we'll go ahead and get started pulling those out. But I need to first get a 10mm wrench, and we're gonna get back and get those back ones first because they're a little bit of a pain in the ass to get to be honest. Jeez, I wonder if I can get this in here. Oh, I can. Nice. No, this back one, definitely don't think I'm gonna be able to get to it with the gun, so I'm gonna have to get in here. Come on, little buddy. Now, next up, I'm gonna remove the last bolts that are holding this thing mounted down in place. I'm gonna break these all loose by hand, and that's all. I'll get them the rest of the way out with our little impact gun. Okay, so now at this point, I'm gonna say that it's gonna wanna come up now. Yep, looky there. The whole fucking supercharger is loose. That is pretty cool. There you go. Okay, all loose in the back. Okay, we'll move this blower lid sideways. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing lifted up, off, and out of the engine bay, and set it over there. At least I thought it was. This thing is actually pretty heavy. Let me go grab some help real quick. Rob, could you help me do a lift real fast?
Oh boy, would I! Oh, we're picking that thing up.
Yes, sir. So I got some blue masking tape also, so that way we can tape off our ports once we get this thing out the way. This thing heavier than I thought, I'll be real.
Yeah, actually looking at one of these is
So the idea was to just set it on that cart.
Oh. Alrighty.
Okay, slowly. Hang on.
You got?
Yeah.
I can't wait to let a gorilla get a hold of this.
Careful, SpongeBob. Okay. That is pretty crazy. Look at there. Gt4 Supercharger out of the way. Now everything else under there is all the direct injection stuff, I believe. We're gonna ignore all of that. I'm gonna wipe down our surface of the heads right here, clean it up so that way we can get tape to stick to it real nice. This is literally the shittiest, most non-sticky tape I've ever seen in my life.
Would you like me to go get some different tape for you?
Honestly, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I definitely do need it for this. This part's important. Huh. I did clean it up and wipe it down good enough. I just think that there's a little bit more oil residue sitting on there than I thought. That'll work for at least temporary until Rob gets back. I just mainly wanted to make sure that all these ports are covered. That way we don't accidentally drop anything in there. 'Cause that would not be a fun day, I promise. I like your look of just sheer confidence when you walked back in. You looked so like you had a shit-eating grin. You were like, oh, sticky tape. Yeah, that will actually exactly fucking stick to anything.
It will do its job as tape. Damn it, I had some metal shavings. I was just gonna kind of...
No, it's okay. Not the only car that's doing things at the moment. Well, yeah, don't... Yeah, that one either, actually. Don't put metal shavings in this one. All right, guys, so check it out. It's a little crude looking, but we got tape over all of our inlets for our heads and everything. All the ports are good. Not gonna drop anything in there. At this point, we are pretty much done under the hood of this car. So I've got these hoses pretty much clamped off, like I said. Our harness is just kind of hanging out here out of the way. Belt is still hanging out right there. So honestly, I think we can go ahead and shut the hood on this for now. And the next time that we'll see that blower should be in about 5 to 7 business days, thanks to Kong Performance. And they're gonna do their, I think it's called an X port or something like that. I can't exactly remember. I don't really know too much about these blowers or anything. I've never really messed with it. This is my first time. So they've got some kind of little porting style that they're gonna do in here, and I'll have to show you guys whenever we get it back, but at least you guys can see what all of the stock components of an LT4 blower looks like. It's honestly pretty neat. And this is our little blower pack here. This is the, if you see, the pulley spins, and these are, if you get your finger caught in there, it'll f you up. Basically, the way that these work, it's actually kind of interesting. So we've got the lid on top. We've got our throttle body. Whenever our throttle body opens, air comes and gets funneled into the bottom, gets through these screws right here, I believe, gets shoved out of this hole up into the lid, and is pushed down inside each port through these intercooler areas here. It's kind of neat how this blower is set up. It's very different from like the Coyote blowers. They're a little bit more simple, but it's interesting still.
So it flows through this?
Mm-hmm. This one's got like the intercooler, it's all one unit on this one. So like on the Coyote stuff, if you look at this supercharger that's conveniently sitting here, this rotor pack is mounted in the bottom here, and we've got that same twin screw looking action going on, but instead of the intercooler being based around it, this one's directly under the blower. So you can see it's like a very large volume intercooler and its own separate manifold that's below the blower itself, if that makes sense. Whereas in this case, we've got literally like the blower and intercooler manifold all put together. So blower pack in here and 2 intercoolers going down to each runner. Okay, so the next thing that I'm gonna do is just go ahead real quickly and just at least put some of these bolts back in and get them all pretty much just hand tight. That way nothing is exposed before it gets to them. By the way, guys, this video is not sponsored by Kong. They're just really good guys that make a lot of power, and that is why we wanted to partner with them for this. I say partner with them. I really just messaged them on Instagram. I was like, hey, what's y'all's turnaround time? I'm trying to ship a blower to y'all. And they were like, cool, here it is. This is how much it'll be, blah, blah, blah. I was like, awesome. So that's pretty much it. They just do really good work. If you guys want to go check them out, you can click the link down below, or you can go to their Instagram page at Kong Performance and check them out. Shameless plug for them.
Wait, isn't it Kong Perform?
Yeah, it's not performance. It's
Oh.
Kong Perform.
Kong Perform.
Monkey.
Monkey. Sweet. This is pretty dope, honestly. I have never done this.
That was fast. Yeah.
Yeah, what time is it? 11:15?
We did that in an hour.
Holy shit, dude.
How
Has no
fast
merit.
could you pull off the blower in the black car?
I used to do it in like probably 3 hours. It took a while on the black car.
Really?
I've just gotten more proficient, I guess, since then.
Yeah.
I was also 18, 19 years old with not any mechanical ability hardly at the time. That's what people, I think, really don't understand about back in the day whenever everybody was so pissed off because I kept making mistakes. It's like I was legitimately a 19-year-old kid with a 1,000 horsepower car that he built himself in his garage with literally just no assistance. And so like, what do y'all expect, actually? Looking back on it being 23 now and thinking about that makes me like wonder how in the hell I am even alive. Why, who let a 19-year-old kid build a car like that? All right, well, I guess that's that for now. We'll go ahead and shut this down and we'll wait about a week.
Fire it up.
Fire it up. Dude, I'm pretty excited. Ported blower, new throttle body, and I said that in this video I was gonna shout out whoever could guess that, if they could guess the combo. So we're gonna have to go look through the comments of that video. Whoever got it right, if anybody got it right, congratulations, you won nothing.
You win this.
Oh yes.
A lot of times.
That is so much heavier than it was a minute ago. Just from putting the lid on it. Oh my God. We could take it to packing mail like this, honestly. It would just be like, do you think that they could package it like
Yes.
safe enough?
Yes, they absolutely can.
Really? Okay. Could you rotate this gently sideways but don't drop it off the stool?
I thought you wanted me to throw it in the pot.
Okay, ready? It's gonna start leaking. Not bad. So now before we ship it out, I'm just making sure that all of the fluid is drained out of here. So I'm gonna slip these back on there and I'm gonna zip tie these rubber caps on there just so whoever is shipping this doesn't have a bad day with coolant. It should be empty, but I'm just trying to help out. Oh,
I had it.
by it. Bonk. Oh, yeah. Oh, the
You're just making can noises.
My car is not supercharged.
We are going to our local shipping company to go literally walk this in, and the place here is nice enough to actually pack it all and ship it all for you. So they'll get it all packaged up pretty nicely because I'm worried about it getting damaged in shipping. So we're gonna make sure that it is completely fine by taking it to them instead of trying to do it ourselves with like moving blankets and stuff. So they'll actually pack it properly. All right, the blower is shipped out with plenty of insurance, so we're gonna run back to the shop and get started on some other stuff. All right, guys, so the next thing that we're gonna go ahead and get started tackling is pretty much this miscellaneous parts pile that I've got here. I also forgot to show you guys, but this was something that I was really looking forward to. These are some LED running. Okay, new battery. All right, guys, so the next thing that I'm gonna get started installing is our bundle of parts here. I'm not sure exactly if I'm gonna have time to install the wideband today. Probably not. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and set that on the side and leave it alone until we get probably, honestly, the blower back and getting ready to get started tuning and stuff like that. So I'll set that out. I'll put these lug nuts over there for the time being until we get new wheels in. I do want to put these lift pucks underneath there. I do want to put our tow hook on. I do want to put our side markers on. That's probably all that we'll get through installing for today. The rest of this stuff we'll save for whenever our parts get back. But so these are all pretty much, except for these side markers. Everything here is from ZL1 add-ons. Yet again, huge thanks to them. If you guys want to grab anything, they've got parts for all kinds of cars and they're really, really helpful. You guys have seen that we've installed these lift pads on a few cars, but this is like, honestly, this is pretty cool to me. So instead of denting your pinch welds and everything whenever you're putting jacks or anything like that, the pinch weld that's, you know, vertical like that, this slips on it, and then you tighten these two Allens down and it actually pinches onto the pinch weld. So that way you've got a solid jack point and it actually has much more surface area that it's lifting from. So it just makes a lot more sense and it's a lot safer, and I don't know, I really like these. They're really cool. Now, aside from that, I already showed you guys the Gt4 Tow Hook, so we can go ahead and get this installed first. Honestly, I don't think this is difficult to install by any means. Oh yeah, I forgot about the I forgot to put the splitter down here at the beginning of the video. I gotta get this put on too. But anyways, down here on the ZL1s, they've got this little hole. It's very convenient because you can just slide this in and start threading, and there you go. Literally, like, that's how a tow hook install goes on these cars. Super simple. Bam, beautiful. There you go. That is literally it. That was like the easiest install I've ever done on anything. Well, just like that, we've got a very freaking sturdy front tow hook mount for this car. Essentially what this is for, obviously, in case the car breaks down. Something happens, I don't know, like let's say we're on the track with it and break an axle or something, Lord forbid. But if something like that happened, super easy. All you gotta do, obviously you can't drive it up the trailer, and our trailer isn't easy to push a car into because if you've seen on the inside, we've got like a wedge section and it's angled on the inside, so you can't really push a car up the incline. So we've got a winch, but we had nothing to winch to previously, but now got something real easy to winch to, or if we need to strap the car down, this is a nice strap point, or anything really. Damn, I don't know why, but that actually looks pretty good. The red on the one here and the red on the tow hook, that's pretty fire. Next up, I'm probably in the same time going to start doing these turn signals and these rock guards. The reason being is because I'm going to have to pull off a lot of the bolts holding on the fender liners to be able to put these rock guards in place. Coincidentally, that's the same things that I need to pull off to be able to get to our side markers here to put in our LED side markers. Let me go ahead and get some gloves on these ZL1s, or I believe it's the same thing for the 6th gen Camaros, but on these cars it's really hard to see, but inside of here we've got a few Torx bolts that I've got to get to. It is hilarious trying to take out these fender liner bolts with just rubber caked all over them. I'm really probably gonna have to pull off these wheels. All right, no problem. All right, I'm gonna get this thing up in the air to use our little quick jacks. I'll get the back end lifted up, that way I can get these wheels off. I really thought this was gonna be just quick and simple, but it might be a little bit more complicated than I thought. Corsa exhaust still looking beautiful under here. Now that I've got the rear end lifted up, give it a good shake, everything feels good. All right guys, I've got these 3 Torx removed out of the fender liner. They're a little bit hard to get to, especially without being able to take the wheel off, but I think I got them. Next up, I should be able to get back. Yeah, there we go. Now if you notice the shape of these housings, they've got these little, they're not actually bolted in, they're just clipped in. So from the bottom, I've got to push up on this tab at the bottom. Let me see if I can get the top one. Oh, there it goes. There's the top. All right guys, so there we go. Got our little housing out. Okay, so we're actually gonna leave the connector plugged up, and then we'll pull our bulb out. Then we'll go to the inside of the car, turn our running lights on. All right, so you see our lights are on now. Next up is I'll go ahead and try this out. And there it is. Oh yeah, that is pretty sick. So we've got this very nice LED look whenever the lights are on. Obviously it's gloss black whenever the lights are off. Let's go over here to this other side and I'll show you what it looks like compared to the factory. So you definitely see this side, and then over here on this side, you'll see our dimly lit halogen bulb, and our stock housing just looks really poor, to be honest. So both clips are in. Oh yeah. That actually looks pretty damn sick. So next up, these are gonna go in the rear. We're gonna get these opened up. And now our 3 bolts that we took out from these fender liners is actually what's gonna hold these extenders on. We're gonna replace them with a little bit longer with some spacers. This long spacer apparently goes in the bottom, and we're gonna reuse these new hardware here. So this apparently goes through here like so. And then this goes through there like so. And this goes something in there like that, and then starts getting tightened down, right? Got one somewhat done. Now next up, we're gonna go for this one. All right, guys, there you go. One is installed. Check that out. It's actually not bad. You got to use these little spacers. So biggest spacer at the bottom, these 2 for the ones above it. Afterwards though, it's honestly very flush and very nice looking all around. If you can see it, it looks a lot better from the back. It's just that extra little inch or so of definition in the rear just helps out a lot with that. It looks damn good. To start our install of this front rock guard, need to get this clip out of the way, which I just did. I'm gonna go ahead and spray some Goo on here, get any residue of any stuff off that's right up in here. Anything that's gonna keep this from sticking, any oils or anything like that. I just want to get all of that out of the way. I don't know if you guys can see, but you can really see a bunch of spots. That's sad. This car doesn't even have that many miles on it, but you can see all over the place right here. Rock chips, rock chips, rock chips, all over. That is actually sad. That's astounding. I've never noticed that before. Wow. Luckily, this whole entire area has been covered in PPF. Honestly, I think the majority of the car is covered in PPF, luckily, but that sucks still. Here's an easy solution to that though. We're gonna push our push pin through, push it into the original spot, and clip it down. Make sure that that's held in place. And then we can stick that and keep pulling our tape up. Now we've got these little clips. I'm gonna stick this clip in this hole right here and get it clipped inside of there. That is gonna help keep it pressed down to this fender. And the next one is gonna go up here at the top, just like so. And just like that, our front is nice and protected now. Very nice. Now if you look at it from the side, you see that this nice winglet sticks out. It's gonna protect rocks from getting flung down the entire side of the car. And honestly, on Corvettes, it's really bad, but back here in this area, it usually gets beat up pretty bad. So you can see, maybe you can see this line where the PPF starts and goes down, really just to protect that whole area. Now we don't have to worry about it. So this side is pretty much finished up. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the other side and begin doing the exact same thing over there. All right, guys, well, there you've got it. We've got this side installed. Rock guard looking good. We've also got our little ambient running light right there looking really good. Got our fronts installed over here. So the next thing that I can pretty much get started installing is this new front splitter. Slide it underneath here, and then I'm gonna see what all that I need to start doing to get this thing installed. Just a heads up, guys, if you decide to do this, make sure that you don't do it on a 4-post lift. This makes it so much harder. Got those 4 out. I'm trying to see where all of these bolt holes line up here. So we've got these 2 8s here. They both need to be removed. This is why I said don't do it on a 4-post. All right, guys, I've got all of our factory bolts pulled out of this front splitter. Well, our factory front splitter, I guess. We're gonna go ahead and get started adding the splitter extension right here using some new bolts and some spacers. So we've got these 4 little aluminum spacers and some bolts and washers. And I'm gonna start from the center and leave everything pretty loose. So I'll go ahead and put that one up through. Put our spacer up top. And then I just wanna get it started so that way it'll hold itself up. There we go. This is honestly gonna look pretty wild. I haven't gotten any splitter rods yet, but I'm definitely gonna drill 2 holes in the front, run splitter rods somewhere up there that looks pretty cool. Hadn't figured out exactly where, how, or any of that yet, but I just wanna get our splitter on first. All right, all 4 of our center bolts here are at least in place and holding up our front splitter extension. So next up, I wanna go ahead and start working on some of these outside bolts and figuring out where everything is gonna go. Andrew's been driving around all morning looking for another spline key because somehow the one for this car, that truck, and the 67 all happened to walk off. So finally, just now I was able to get all these lug nuts off. So I'm getting started putting on our titanium lug nuts now. Let me go ahead and thread all of these on. That's pretty cool. Titanium lug nuts.
That is interesting. Got our old ones moved out of the way. I just got these bolts tightened up back in here all the way. This is nice and firmly mounted now. Shit. All right, guys, I've got all the bolts in here. Now I'm just going around and tightening everything down. All right, guys, check it out. Front splitter is installed up here. It looks really, really, really good. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I got to do the turn signals up here, or little, whatever you want to call them. Pop those two out, just like that. Wire harness, you guys already know the deal. Very nice, check that out. Wow, that looks pretty cool. Might be hard to tell with it on the lift and this angle and everything, but dude, that turn signal mixed with the splitter, mixed with just the tow hook and everything else up front looks so good. So now you see up front, it's got that nice little extension sticking out to match up with this bottom splitter. That looks pretty damn good. I've had these for like a long time, honestly. I've had all these parts for a long time. I just haven't even had a chance to install any of this. I am so happy to be getting all of this out of the way. Hell yeah. Okay, I am pretty sure I'm done. All right, let's lower this thing down. See what it looks like. Here it is. Check that out. And those look really, really good. Got our rear rock guards all on, nice and tight. Titanium lug nuts. Oh, moving up front, got our new little lights in there. New splitter installed, rock guard right there, looking great. Back on the back of the wheel well, same thing. Got a nice rock guard coming out of there. And then let's see the front of this thing. Oh, oh yeah, that looks sick. Hell yeah. That, honestly, that came out really, really good. I'm really impressed, honestly, hell yeah. I'll probably do some splitter rods from the splitter itself up into maybe somewhere right there, I don't know. It bothered me about these orange little lights up here because it didn't really match the rest of the car, but now it is like spot on between the headlight and that light. Very nice. Tow hook looks good. Oh my gosh, this thing came out pretty damn good. Got our front rock guard, rear rock guard, all that good stuff. What do you guys think? Comment down below, let me know what you guys think, but I think this thing looks freaking sick. Can't hardly tell on camera, but once we are able to actually get the car out of the shop and get it all in the daylight, you'll see it really well. But that splitter looks so aggressive up front. Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see it a little bit better now. Jeez. What a freaking day. Oh my gosh. Got all kinds of stuff done today, honestly. That is still such a crazy sight. As you guys saw, blower is gone, so we'll have this car down for probably another week at least, at bare minimum. That is if they're really quickly turning that thing around and they get it back to us fast, but realistically I'll expect it to take a little bit longer. But I mean, wow, the car looks a lot better. It's definitely gonna look like it is as fast as it is, I'll say that. We'll go ahead and shut this. And I guess with that being said, guys, that's probably gonna be a wrap for today's video. Make sure you drop a like on this video, comment down below and let me know what else you wanna see done to this ZL1. Other than wheels and coilovers, I really think that we're about wrapped up with this whole build for now, definitely for now. Like I said, I definitely still want to go and do a big cam kit and all that good stuff, but I need to wait till we move somewhere where it's E85 is easier to get to, because right now it's just a pain, honestly. I'm just so excited about everything that's going on with this car, honestly. Make sure you guys stay tuned, and with that being said, I've got a whole lot of stuff to pick up if you didn't see all around here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started picking everything up. We'll see you guys next video. Monkey.